Ever broken a phone before? Let's say a laptop or electronic device that you own. How do you get that fixed? Where do you even get that fixed from? And how does right to repair impact you?
In 2021, Joanna Stern from the Wall Street Journal took 2 Apple MacBooks to be repaired for water damage. An official Apple store told her that repairs would cost nearly $1,000 for each computer. Louis Rossman, owner of an independent repair shop in New York City, could fix one for just $325, but couldn't get the parts to fix the other.
I got started with Right to Repair after years of noticing that a lot of what made it difficult for us to do our job were artificial limitations and roadblocks put in place by the manufacturer, who has a vested interest in us not being able to repair devices for their customers.
Louis Rossman is a leading advocate for right to repair laws who travels to state legislative hearings across the country.
We can't get access to schematics or board views even if we're willing to pay for it, even if we're willing to get certified. That's one of the primary things that we need that we wind up getting from less legitimate sources right now. We're not able to buy chipsets and parts that we actually need to be able to do the repairs that we do. So there's the idea that, well, there's competition. If you don't like what this company does, just buy another one. And the issue that you have right now is that there are certain items where you just fundamentally cannot buy a product that actually allows you to do these types of basic repairs anymore.
It is not just tech companies that are restricting repair. Farmers who were once able to fix their own tractors are now being locked out by John Deere's restrictive software.
For example, we had a guy come out one time and we couldn't get our three-point arms to raise up and down on the back of the tractor, and we wouldn't be able to fix it unless we had the information off their laptops and stuff to do it with. They charge you from when they leave up there till they get down here, till they get back, at the minimum of $500, and at the maximum, I suppose we spent $10,000.
As shown in this Vice video, you can see that some farmers have just resorted to hacking their tractors to get repairs done.
There's pirated software out there from Eastern Europe that guys are utilizing to try to get around this, to be able to work on their tractors themselves.
Right to repair even affects the most notorious broken device, the McDonald's ice cream machine. These machines are all manufactured by the Taylor Company, who only allows authorized manufacturers to repair them. To help franchise owners save money, Jeremy O'Sullivan and Melissa Nelson found a way to simplify the process.
We created Kitch, which is a little tiny computer that attaches to the front panel of the machine, and it decrypts very complicated messages that your typical employee may not understand.
Taylor and McDonald's discouraged franchise owners from using Kitch with claims that it can cause serious human injury.
All these dangerous parts that are inside the machine, when you remove the door, Kitch can't operate. Nothing can happen.
Kitch is now suing Taylor for hundreds of millions of dollars in damages. With so many people affected, many states have introduced legislation to protect repair rights for consumers and independent repair shops. However, these bills are not unopposed by manufacturers.
I harbor serious concerns over the potential theft of American manufacturers' intellectual property if forced to divulge such information under right to repair laws. We could be inviting foreign and potentially hostile entities to steal American innovation.
Consumers in this country already have a choice when it comes to who repairs their devices, and thousands of authorized repair facilities compete for consumers' business each day.
Manufacturers also have really high standards for authorized repair shops to even get their own parts or even to be authorized in the first place.
So I mentioned the Apple authorized service provider status in my testimony, and that's the highest level that an independent shop like mine could gain. But the higher level you get, the more access you get to parts and information, but the more restrictive it is, and the more Apple controls what you do. Apple did just introduce their self-service repair option, but for that, you have to put in the serial number of a device to even be able to order parts. So as an independent shop, I can't even use that program to order parts to keep in stock.
Apple's self-service repair program offers consumers access to manuals, tools, and certain parts such as screens, batteries, and cameras for their iPhones. Unfortunately, this service does not include some commonly broken parts such as the charging port and is only available for iPhones 12 and newer. I can't get a manual or parts for my iPhone 11 that I got in 2021.
If you own something, you should be able to do basic service work on it. And if you can't do basic service work on what it is you own, then I would say you don't really own it.
We work with our authorized repair networks to ensure the high safety standards for these electronic equipment. I'm sure that all of you have heard about lithium-ion batteries and the potential problems that can cause when they are not connected properly to a device.
We've accepted in our society that you can fix the brakes or the wheels on your 6,000-pound truck that goes 70 miles an hour down the highway in your driveway, but you're telling us that you have to protect us from what's in our phone that's using like a 3.7-volt battery.
Despite industry pushback, the federal government has started to take action.
Denying the right to repair raises prices for consumers, means independent repair shops can't compete for your business. My executive order announced that support for the right to repair. Right after I issued my order, I was pleased to see the Federal Trade Commission unanimously announced it would ramp up enforcement against illegal repair restrictions.
Under the Magnuson Moss Warranty Act, we can bring administrative actions. We can get companies to stop what they're doing. If companies violate those orders in the future, we can get civil penalties against them. The FTC recently announced 3 cases. They're against Harley-Davidson, Westinghouse, and Weber, and they allege violations of the Magnuson Moss Warranty Act. These companies included warranty provisions that said the warranties will be void if a customer uses parts or gets independent repairs that aren't by the company.
In May of 2021, the FTC released the Nixing the Fix report, which examined repair restrictions and potential legislative action. 1 month later, the Fair Repair Act was introduced to the House, which would require electronics manufacturers to make repair equipment available to independent providers.
If we were newly elected members of Congress, our first priority would be supporting this bill. Remember, right repair is a unifying issue, from Oklahoma to New York City to repair shops to farms and even more.